Good morning. It's February 15th, 2026, and I wanted to make this video about my net worth at 24. It's raining. I hope that's not messing the audio up too much, but I wanted to talk a little bit about, really how I got to where I'm at. I thought about how much detail I wanted to go into here, and I think I'm going to keep it high level, because if I don't, I'll end up getting too deep into it and I'll end up rambling, going on a tangent. So I'm just going to share what my net worth is, how I got to where I'm at, and how I'm managing the money that I have now. I did take the screenshots for this video a couple weeks ago or so, somewhere around there, and so I'm late getting around to this, but so it's not going to be 100% accurate as to where I'm at currently today, but it's pretty close. I think this will be good for me. I wanted to do this just so that I'll be able to reflect on it at some point in the future, but I think, I know people like talking about money. I like talking about money, and just, it's interesting. This would be something that I would watch, people, how other people manage their money, how much they've made, by what age, to be able to kind of compare, get an idea of, like, am I not doing enough or whatever. And also just seeing, like, how are other people managing their money? Should I be doing something someone else is doing? So with that out of the way, up front I have $115,000, and a little bit of background as to how I got there. I mean, it's really boring, but I started working at 17 part-time, and I went full-time. I've been working since 17. I went full-time when I was 20 or so. So I'm about to be 25. So for about 5 years or so, I've been working full-time. And it's really as simple as just spend less than you make and invest the difference. And then, whatever you make on that adds up over time. And that's what's gotten me to where I'm at. After about 5 years, you can manage to cross 100,000. So I didn't go to college, for whatever that's worth. I went to community college for a little bit, but I ended up dropping out of that. But that wasn't a ton of money, and I didn't walk away with debt from that. So pretty much have never had debt. I've never had a car loan or anything like that, so no debt. Try to stay away from that. I wish there was more to that, but I don't know. I haven't had anything that's really, like, sent my net worth higher in terms of earnings, so it's really just kind of the steady grind for me so far. So I have a handful of, I don't know what you would call it, categories where I have money across various accounts. And so I'm just going to go top down from the highest value to the lowest. So where I have the most money tied up is in brokerage accounts, where I manage a portfolio of stocks. And that account, I have an E-Trade account that has $54,000 in it. And that is split between, it'll be in the screenshot, but it's split between a traditional brokerage account and an IRA, and I think it's split pretty evenly, and I've just been adding to those as much as possible over the years. And in that account, I do manage, I know this would be like red flags for some people, but I do manage individual stocks, and I've come a long ways in terms of being able to value businesses and stuff like that, and doing research on companies, and having confidence to invest in individual companies. I have nothing against ETFs and index funds and just investing passively. And I would even be doing it if my time horizon aligned. But I think, I'm investing over the next 10 years or so. So at least that's how I think about it when I'm making investments. And with that being the case, I don't think that you can invest in ETFs confidently for any less than 15 years, or really, I would say, if I'm being conservative, I would say like 20 years. And that's just not my time horizon. So I've taken it upon myself to invest in individual stocks. I've been through losses. I've experienced the things necessary to get me to a point where, I was like, okay, I have to learn this stuff and actually kind of know what I'm doing. And so, I've made mistakes, and I'm very comfortable. I guess all that to say, I'm very comfortable with the risk that I'm taking. I understand the risk in individual stocks and whatnot. So I'm comfortable, and it's just been a natural progression for me. So, as much as that's not probably the right path for most people, that is where I put the not majority, but a good chunk of my money. And I've been tracking it, and so far I'm like, since inception, I'm like just in line with the market, which is not great, but it's also not terrible. I'm hoping, going forward, things are better, obviously, pretty much, but we'll see. I feel pretty good about that. That's the largest. The second largest, and this, see, if that didn't throw red flags, this definitely will. The second largest is a stock. It's also stock related, stock trading, day trading account that has $40,000 in it. And I feel like I have to defend myself. But I mean, I've been learning how to trade stocks for so long. Like, I started getting interested in that when I was 18 or so. And so, I've learned a lot. If I'm keeping this high level, then I mean, really, I don't make a ton of money from it, but I also don't lose money. I mean, that's half the challenge whenever you're talking about day trading or trading stocks in general, is like not losing money. Most people lose too much money before they can even like correct and like actually get on a profitable path. So I've definitely turned that corner, and like in terms of like profitability, I do make money. It's just not a lot. And is it worth the time? I don't know, but it's also important to note that part of the reason, and this ties into the investing in individual stocks as well, part of the reason I'm so comfortable with trading and investing is, one, I've been doing it since I was 18 and learning about it, and now I'm 24. Two, I do it every single day, so I am very involved. Like, to go back to the ETF thing, if you're not going to be very involved, then definitely, yeah, I wouldn't. That's not something I would recommend, like being active in markets at all. But literally every single day, I'm involved, whether it's like reading about something that I might invest in, learning about companies, or trading markets and learning different setups and all that. I mean, you're constantly learning new things and getting screen time and experience. And I'm doing it every single day alongside my 9 to 5. So that's another reason that I'm as comfortable as I am. But yeah, I'm very involved. So that's the top two. I mean, that right there is $95,000. So that's a good chunk of it. And that makes sense. I mean, that's where I'm comfortable. So the next category is actually physical gold and silver. And I have about $8,000 in physical gold and silver. Since actually writing this down and getting the screenshots and the pictures and everything, I did sell a little bit of the silver, but because, I mean, the price of silver has just been going vertical. And I sold 5 ounces of silver for $100 a piece, which so far has been a good decision, but it's just not that significant. Of the gold and silver that I hold, that little bit was not that significant. So, but I'm not a huge believer in gold and silver. but this has been gifted to me over years. And pretty much, I mean, I think my parents, that's where all of that's come from, is my parents gifting me gold and silver over many years. And it's just, I've never done anything with it. And now all of a sudden, everybody wants to buy gold and silver, and the price of both is just skyrocketing. So it's like, I have that. I probably won't, unless things get crazier and it keeps going higher, I probably won't mess with it. But, it's $8,000. I mean, it's no... Well, I guess that's probably down now a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else to say. That's just gonna sit there. The next highest is about $7,000, which is in it's in a Schwab brokerage account. This money is passively invested in ETFs, and yeah, I think 3 ETFs now in that account. And so the backstory here is, I was raised being taught that you should tithe your money. I've always done it since I was 17. When I started working, I've always tithed in some form, and I plan to keep doing that. It's just the way that I'm doing it, or the way that I decided a while back that I was going to start taking the money that I would be tithing and just putting it in a brokerage account in passive funds that I don't have to even worry about managing. I really don't even view that money as mine, because the plan is to just let that grow passively, lower risk, and then someday it's going to be a large sum, because if I'm putting X% of everything I earn, by the time I retire or whenever I wanted to go about getting that money out, I want to do something charitable with it. I'm not sure what that'll be, but we're talking so far in the future. I've got time, so that's the plan there. It's just let that stack up. But that's the tithe account. So yeah. Next category is cash, which is about 5,000, 4.9 thousand. Not really much to say there. I mean, cash is necessary. I like to have that. I'm probably good with 5,000 as an emergency fund, and that balance changes all the time. I'm always pulling from that, adding to it. So yeah, I mean, that makes it up. All that together is about 115,000. And it's been a grind. 100,000 is cool. I mean, I know that's a big number for a lot of people, and it was for me. I mean, that was kind of my first... Well, I mean, I wasn't too focused on that number specifically, but it is a cool number. Like, it's the first kind of significant milestone, I think, that you hit. The way that I do it, like, I'm more focused on the money that I'm actively managing and stuff. So I didn't even realize that I had 100,000. I probably crossed it several months ago, didn't even realize, because the tithe money, again, I don't even view that as mine. And then the gold and silvers, I mean, it's kind of liquid, I guess, but it's like, having that physically, I don't really think about that as like liquid money either. So in terms of like the money I'm managing is not quite 200K, but if you add it all up, it is. So pretty cool, but still a lot to do. I mean, I know it'll never end. You're constantly upping the targets. So I guess now I'm on my way to 1,500,000, whatever it may be. I did want to share, a couple of things that I've learned along the way, like, because I've learned so much, and I had my ass handed to me for sure when I first started investing, and I think that was good. I mean, it sucks because I definitely lost more money than I probably should have, but it was good because a lot of the success stories I've seen actually start that way anyway. Like, you have to kind of get checked early to realize, like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I have to go figure out what I'm doing, and then I'll make money. And if you are, what I've seen is, like, if you do make money early and you don't know what you're doing, you get this, what is that called? There's a I think it's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. I hope that's it. Where, like, you don't know what you're doing, you get into something, you have beginner's luck, and you think, oh, I'm invincible, and then you go on to really do yourself in, and that is, ironically, beginner's luck can lead to like a much worse net outcome. So I feel, good about everything I've learned and where I'm at now and going forward, and I don't mind. And I guess it's worth mentioning, like, I have all this money tied up, because I'm always thinking, like, well, how, like, ultimately I'm out for like max returns here, while also considering like I am gonna need money going into my 30s and stuff. Like I'm gonna need some of this money, and if I wanted to buy a house or something, I'm gonna need a significant amount of this. I'm hoping to grow it a lot before I have to get a house, or before I decide to. So I'm always thinking, like, well, I'm trying to maximize my returns here. Like, how do I do that? And then I zoom out and I'm like, well, I have all this money tied up in my trading account, all this money tied up in stocks. I think I'll make good returns in both of those areas. I wouldn't be doing it otherwise. And that's where I'm comfortable again. But there are, like, I know there are other ways you can make money and like, if you own a business, for instance, wearing a lot of hats, you get a lot of leverage, I guess, in a way, of being able to, like, do all these different jobs that you could be outsourcing, but you're not, and then reap the profit from that. Basically, like, controlling your costs and stuff like that. And, like, I've recognized that over time. That's, that's a very real way to make good money. But I don't know, like, there's no business opportunity that I have been interested enough in and confident enough in to really pursue. But I am always, like, looking, if the people in my life, like, if somebody wanted to go into like a joint venture of some sort, I'm always open. I'm always looking, and things like stocks it's easy to get detached because you're just doing it on a screen. Like, there's no real, it's just, the way I think about it is, like, when I'm investing in businesses. I know that, and I know that I have, like, ownership in a company, but not seeing it every day is different than if you are. So I think it would be cool to have something tangible, like something to work towards every day that's more tangible. So I'm always looking out for that, but to date, there's not been anything significant that I would be willing to risk on. So I just haven't found anything yet. But that's my net worth, $115,000 at 24. This will be cool to look back on at some point. But yeah, hopefully you gained something from it if you watched it. I appreciate you watching it. And I'm gonna get out of here. I'm in an abandoned mall parking lot. So I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate you being here. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.